Okay, so anyway, today I'm going to be showing you facts you did not know about survival craft. Number 2, that is. Okay, so you have all known, so if you played survival craft number 2, you may have known this recipe, right? A stick, add to wood, make a wooden club. Well, that was not always the case in survival craft number 2. You see, when survival craft number 2 was released, the sticks and wood will make like a machete, just like the copper, iron, and diamond. However, survival craft number 2 got rid of these weapons and rebranded them as clubs, because I will admit, it's a little bit weird how you see machetes, and survival craft number 2 just wanted to make them more realistic in the 2.2 update. Now you see, there wasn't always incretinary bombs. You see, before incretinary bombs were in the game, there was just only normal bombs. Now the thing is, normal bombs, the reason why incretinary bombs were made is so to let players burn down more stuff. At least this is what I think, though. Now, if you've seen this texture in the explosive bolt, you may have noticed it was gray, but that wasn't always the case. When Survival Craft number 2 was released in 2016, along with its predecessor Survival Craft number 1 in 2011, the explosive bolt texture, which you see in the, explosive bolt, used to be red. However, this year in Survival Craft 2.3, they replaced this with a more gray color. So, you may have also known about the stone axe. It can do like everything, including mine, dig. Well, it wasn't always the case. You see, the axe used to be like the copper, iron, and diamond edge axe. Back then, there were separate stone tools like the stone axe before it became this model, the stone shovel, stone pickaxe, stone rake, stone machete, stone's machete, and yeah, that was literally all. However, Survival Craft number 2 decided to get rid of this weapon and replace it with just a stone axe. They rebranded the stone machete as a stone club. In fact, it can be like crafted just like an actual pickaxe. So here's how you actually do it. So first, you can either use stone, cobblestone, or maybe even rocks, because obviously this stone axe was actually made out of stone. And here's how you actually crafted it. Like this. You can either craft it like this or like this. Or if you have only cobblestone, you can just use one. However, it took more rocks in order to make a stone axe. You have to do it this way or this way. But if you actually only made one, although it will craft, okay, never mind. That was just a thing I miscalculated. That's the 2.3 update made it available to craft the stone axe with only one stone. But back then, this was not always the case, because literally in 2.2, before 2.3 was released, you had to make a stone axe like this or just this. But now I guess it now has an option to make a stone axe like this. Also, Survival Craft, actually, you may have heard that Survival Craft 2 was released in 2016. Well, it said only 2, and what about the 1 version? Well, number 1 was released in 2011 by Callous Wood Press. He also started the channel in 2011, showing him playing on a Windows phone with Survival Craft Alpha. However, he started to add necessary stuff like signs, torches, and then he started to add his first animal. That animal would be the wild boar. Then later on, he would go on to add wolves, coyotes, and even cows too. However, Survival Craft 1 was discontinued, had no more updates, and now Survival Craft 2 is getting more updates than Survival Craft number 1. So in fact, you may not actually see the hammer in Survival Craft number 1. However, and also, when Survival Craft number 2 was released, it looked more like Survival Craft number 1, except with a few more features added, like hammers, which were used to make furniture, especially pistons, which were added to Survival Craft number 2 when it was released back in 2016. And also, you may have noticed the electronic detonator actually had this real-life symbol thing. Well, it was not always the case. Back then, the electric detonator used to have a red triangle with an exclamation mark in the middle. And in fact, back then, you may have noticed that the old shirt and old pants, old tank top, and old hat do not have any color. Well, this was not always the case in Survival Craft number 1. You see, the old shirt was painted a bluish color, the old pants were painted with a brownish color. The old tank top and old hat I do not know, but I know for a fact that these old clothes used to be painted with actual colors. Also, back then, there were not actually men and women. In fact, the main character was only Walter, which he was now named in Survival Craft number 2, but as back in Survival Craft number 1, you do not have even a choice to pick a skin. In fact, unless if you actually went to the community and downloaded it. Nope, you only had Walter. However, Walter was not always the main character of Survival Craft number 1 back then. In fact, back then, he was more of a blocky man, looking a little more like Steve, but except without a beard, which looked like a smile, and instead had a mouth which was pink and eyes, unlike Steve's, without any white. Nope, only black. And in fact, the musket was not actually added into the game until 2015 rolled around. And also, you can still find some wooden tools. These tools are the wooden rake, the wood and the wooden spear, which were kept into the game ever since 2.2 rolled around. And in fact, also, crafting diamond tools isn't like Minecraft. You need to at least have full made iron tools which aren't actually used, and then wrap them around on some diamonds. The examples here are machete being covered around in diamonds. In fact, you had to actually surround the iron with diamonds, and then, well, yeah, that was how you had to create iron diamond tools. Also, you may think Survival Craft may be a ripoff of Minecraft. Well, it also has some ripoffs too, like Mini Blockcraft and City. And yeah, that was literally all I can name. Also, Mini Blockcraft, unlike Survival Craft, does not have any settings, and it also has a ton of ads, so you're gonna need to turn off your Wi-Fi if you're gonna also play Mini Blockcraft. Also, it tries to combine Survival Craft number 1 and 2 together, like the Iron Hammer, and yeah, that's literally all I can say about it. Also, it's really free, so if you really want a free version of Survival Craft, then just go ahead and download Mini Blockcraft, but make sure you turn off your Wi-Fi before you even play it. Also, Survival Craft hasn't actually invented catenary tags until later on, when Survival Craft number 2 was added. And also, it turns out furniture was actually planned to be put into Survival Craft number 1. Well, however, Callous Woodpress said it was like, screw it, Survival Craft number 1, you had enough updates, Olte. We're creating a new version. And yes, 2016, Survival Craft number 2 was released. That's all the facts of Survival Craft number 2 and Survival Craft number 1.